A woman and a little girl move into a crumbling apartment complex full of mysterious residents. A sealed-off room on the 6th floor contains a deadly secret. An vengeful female ghost appears to haunt the location. As the deaths pile up, the lines between human world and the ghost world blurs, exposing the dark side of every resident who lives in the building, whether they are alive or dead. You know, sometimes when I watch a movie and I don't get it, I feel dumb. I've never felt dumber than watching this film. Writing the synopsis for this film was extremely difficult without going too much into spoiler territory. It was also difficult because the movie was a bit of an utter mess of different kind of components jammed together. Is it a horror film? Is it a disaster movie? Is it a thriller? Or is it a mystery? Or is it all four of those things combined together in some kind of weird arty-farty film? One thing is for sure, this movie seems to be certainly stuck in the 90s. There's constant jump scares everywhere. They're always interrupting the flow of the movie, and you'll get annoyed at them really, really quickly. Add in the typical Asian ghost, and what do I mean by Asian ghost? Well, you got your long black hair, your long flowing white dress, and your grey skin. And you'll be forgiven for thinking that this movie should have released at about the same time as The Ring and Dark Water. Now, in order to feel more like a horror movie and less like a mashup of 700 different kind of genres just put together, our director, Chien, who was the man responsible for the awesome or awful, depending on your look at it, Abyssal Spider, has employed the famous or infamous Dutch angle. If you don't know what that is, that's when the camera angle is kind of tilted on a certain degree. And he does that all throughout the film. The problem is he uses it so much that it feels like every 10th shot in the movie is using that angle. Now, luckily for me, there's no Hitchcock suit, because if there was, then I'd probably be forced to like this movie. Now, what I did like was the appearance of Ling. She's from The Crow and Dumplings, and from Jen-Hao, who is from the Hong Kong film Dream Home. There's some serious heavyweights of Hong Kong horror cinema that have been lent out to Taiwan for this particular production, but they kind of go completely to wasted. Ling plays a drug-dealing grandmother who runs the shop at the bottom of the apartment complex, while Jen-Hao plays a masseuse who's already a ghost, and the story behind her is that she's looking for someone to kill in the movie so that her spirit can cross over. And that's one thing that made me more confused than anything else. The building seems to have a mixture of both ghostly and human residents, and sometimes you can't tell that they're ghosts, while other times it is completely obvious. These ghosts seem to be more than capable of interacting with the human world, which is really odd because the priest or shaman, whatever character in the movie, says that there's only particular people who should be able to interact with the ghosts, one being the little boy in the movie. And then all of this mess leads up to the final third of the movie where everything is revealed. Now, the issue there is that it seems to have multiple revelations and then one after another. When you do something like that, the revelation that comes next kind of takes away the impact from the one previously. And in the end, what we've actually got is a serial killer cat and mouse movie that borrows the biggest element from the Japanese horror film Dark Water. I'm not going to tell you too much about that. You can probably kind of piece together what this film is actually about. This is one of those movies where the trailer was far more awesome than the actual movie itself. I think this is actually a bit of a rare misstep for Taiwanese horror, where even the kind of bad films have some semblance of enjoyable to them. This one, nothing. So using my patent pending ghost rating, which stands for great horror or stupid trash, this unfortunately gets one ghost. Didn't ever think I would bring out the one ghoster for a movie like this, but here we are, and I had to. And mostly it comes down to the fact that the movie's really messy, and the jump scares is relying way too much on jump scares to get the point across. Way too much on Dutch angles to make it feel creepy. And then kind of mixing your ghost and your human characters together, then kind of shoehorning a serial killer story, but also a redemption story and a rebirth story on top of the character of Chien, the main person in the film. There's a lot to actually unpack in such a short movie. I actually think this probably would have made a really good series instead. Split the story up into 6 episodes that go for an hour each. Would have been far better. Everyone would have had a chance to explore each other's characters and probably would have had a better film or better product in the end. Anyway, that's them behind the door. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Am I being a little harsh on this movie? Otherwise, I am the Artie Dans. You are watching Shockmania or the Artie Dans channels. Thank you so much. Like, subscribe, all that other jazz. Catch you next time.